Hello, class, and welcome to another exciting facilitation for this semester. I am Dr. Annie George, Department of Public Health, Faculty of Health Sciences, and will be your guide. Hope we all enjoy it. Thank you.
So in today's class, we'll be looking at topic 5, prevention and control of non-communicable diseases, the second part of it. Um, at the end of this lesson, we should know what the environment is as a factor in disease origin and its modifications. We should understand the aspects of halting negative socio-cultural factors and practices, as well as the different roles of stakeholders in the prevention of non-communicable diseases. So, what are factors in disease origin? In our previous lectures, we talked about the environment, and then we grouped environment into the physical environment, the social environment, and the biological environment. And we talked about the physical environment and the social environment as playing a role in non-communicable diseases. And we talked about the biological environment as playing a role in communicable diseases. Now, some parts of the environment have that aspect that can be modified, those factors that can be modified for better health. Genetics, of course, is a non-modifiable factor, is a factor that you don't have control over. So we'll be looking at environment and those factors that we can modify in the environment. So what is the environment? Like I said, we have the physical environment, which is the air we breathe, the houses we live in, the chemicals and gases around us that we breathe in. So what is the implication of all this in occupation? The physical environment, the implication of all that in in the work we do, the companies that we work in, our daily and routine activities in terms of fending for a living. So look at the social environment, family, the socioeconomic status, education and employment status of a people, which determines the income that you earn, and it determines the kind of environment you live in, whether you're going to live in a good environment, healthy environment, good for your health, the cultural practices of the people. And then I talked about the biological environment, where you have the microbes, the plants, animals, which I said is mostly a factor in communicable diseases. So in the next slide, we will have an activity. I want you to look at it and before we continue. So activity 1, which occupational areas expose one to non-communicable diseases? Remember the environment, the physical environment and its role in occupation. Here we are. Mining as an occupation. People who are into mining, whether it is coal mining, asbestos, people who work in asbestos companies, silicon industries, people who work in coal industries are prone to what we call coal workers pneumoconiosis. People who work in asbestos company can have asbestosis. Silicon can have silicosis. People who work in milling industries, sawmills, flour mills, they are prone to dust, pollen, smokes, and fumes. And if they have any form of allergy, can react to it. Plastics and dye industries are prone to issues with colors and dyes and its effects on the system. Some of the dyes can lead to cancer. So what do we do in such occupation? We have to place people appropriately People who have allergies, you try to remove them from where there is smoke fumes and put them where is best for them, for their health, to work and be more productive. Then for those who are exposed to all these dust, fume, smokes, you provide them with protective equipment. Now, there's what we call socio-cultural factors which affect health, especially exposing one to non-communicable diseases. We have to look at dysfunctional home, trying to bring up homes through good parenting, reducing marital strife, as stressors which can lead to domestic violence in the homes. We have to avoid female genital mutilation, the awareness of the implications of female genital mutilations, the health implications. We have to abhor it and then encourage people from going into female genital mutilation because of its health implications. We have to increase the awareness of substance abuse and its implications to health. The mental health issues, the behavior disorders associated with drug or substance abuse. So these are the things we need to talk about as a society in public health to help reduce the menace of all those. Then we have to look at what we call the social determinants of health. How do we improve the income of the people? How do we provide good education for people? And then make sure that people are gainfully employed so that they have average disposable income to take care of themselves, live in a good environment, and everything they need as basics for living are provided for them. Then we have to do away with myths, fictions, and beliefs of the people which actually affects health. So we look at what we call roles in prevention of non-communicable diseases. Everybody has a role to play in the prevention of non-communicable diseases: the individual, the community, the government, and non-governmental organizations. So individual role is basically in the primary prevention. How do you prevent diseases on your own? First of all, you have to be health literate. You have to be aware of such diseases. You have to do self-breast examination for women to look out for any lump in the breast. You have to do regular checkup. Try to check your blood pressure, your sugar, cervical pap smears for women who are sexually active to detect cervical cancer or changes in the cervix on time. Then you have the community. Community is also involved in primary prevention through immunizations and all that, general awareness, advocacy, and education on improving health literacy. When you improve individuals, you improve a community. In the next slide, we'll have an activity before we continue. So activity 2, what is the role of government in the prevention of non-communicable diseases? So government plays primordial, primary, secondary, and tertiary roles. Now, we'll put all those roles because of the levels of prevention. Primordial because all the basic things that are required, the government is supposed to provide the basic necessities of life. Those factors we call socio-economic determinants of health: income, education, employment. Because when people are gainfully employed, when people have good income, they have good water, sanitation, they have good housing, and all the basic things of life, they will make the right health choices. So government plays a primordial role. And then the primary role, immunization and other primary preventive measures. The government also provides vaccines for people. Building secondary hospitals, where comprehensive health centers where people treat common diseases. Government also plays a role in that through health system strengthening, tertiary health levels as well. So these are ways government plays a role to see that public health of the population is protected. They also do legislation through bylaws and public health laws, through enforcement, example traffic rule enforcement and all that. So these are ways government tries to protect the health of the population. International organization also plays a role, like WHO, technical support, advocacy, education funding, and other health system strengthening methods. So in summary, we've learned modifiable factors and the environment in the prevention of non-communicable diseases, as well as roles of stakeholders. We've looked at the socio-cultural factors and the control measures in the prevention of non-communicable diseases. So in the next lecture, we go into definition and concepts of communicable diseases. We'll go into communicable diseases this time. And I want to thank you for listening.